Welcome back. We're ripping the Cowboys in this draft recap. I know we're a little far from the draft at this point, but we got to cover the boys, right?
Of course, hometown squad right here. An exciting draft, I would say. At first, whenever they picked Tyler Booker, just to get right into it, Dylan, I was a little bit, I don't know, I wouldn't say skeptical because anytime you go online, I like to pick just because you're shoring up the trenches. But there were some exciting players that were still on the board, like Tyler Warren and Jalen Walker, that I think, we both really liked that I kind of wanted him to go with, but that's just not really the way the Cowboys roll.
Yeah, I think they've always been safely picking O line, and honestly, they never miss, in my opinion. But Tyler Booker sounds like a dog. I wasn't honestly. I was expecting it, bro. Like like knowing Jerry, knowing how they draft, I was expecting it. Zach Martin being gone, I just and the way players were slipping, I was like, dude, honestly, in the second round, you might get value, and they did. They got Donovan Ozaraku. Freaking, didn't you say he led the league in sacks or the ACC?
I think so, something along those lines.
Yeah,
Definite steal down the board. That was one of those picks that I was clapping for Jerry right there because I was like, all right, Jerry, I see you doing that. But on Tyler Booker, it was something where I don't think I said it in any of the videos, but I started to get a gut feeling that he was going to go higher. I didn't think it was going to be number 12, but definitely in the first round, just because I don't know, maybe the Chiefs, even if it was at 31 or something. I was just thinking they would go with a guard or someone would just because it seemed like this dude's just a surefire, at least going to be solid guard in the league.
yeah,
But his mentality is good. I like it. He clearly is absolutely fired up to have the star on his helmet, and I think that's half of it right there. I think the dudes that are just fired up to go where they want to go, uh, they just probably work harder and just want that shit more.
yeah, yeah. He's definitely the most. I would say he's the most true guard in the draft too. Like it was a lock. If you wanted a guard, he is a lock at guard. But I've got the PFF here. Sheamus, 6'5", 325, and I want to see his grades by the season. And they're honestly not that great, honestly.
Yeah,
But his pass blocking and PFF said his pass blocking was great. And it from looking at it here, it is great. So there's no more excuses for Dak, man. It's
no,
running out. We got
100%.
all kinds of Tylers on the O line.
Yeah, and we need Tyler Guyton to take a step up this next year too, because it is sick having two hopefully great guards. Tyler Smith is already really good, but assuming Tyler Booker works out, but they need Guyton to end up being their left tackle. If not, get another left tackle and move him over to the right side.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it. He didn't have the best games against the better teams, and obviously we're not going to let PFF completely decide what kind of player the guy is, but he's young though. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
already
and
knows.
it makes me interested to just know Jerry's mindset, especially as he's getting, he's already old, but even older, because the best Cowboys teams of our lifetime, but really since he's gotten there, have been the teams that are just loaded in the trenches, on the offensive line. And I feel like he's trying to get back to that because, you know, the boys are not in a good spot right now. I would say this is the least amount of just hope and just the most pissed off the fan base has been that I can remember, damn, pretty much in our lifetimes. So I like Jerry kind of going back to his roots right here from what he's used to seeing a good Cowboys team look like.
Yeah, facts. And dude, I know I'm glad the Broncos are doing good because that's my other team, and it's real easy to just not look too much into what the Cowboys are doing, right? And I know you know that as a Bills fan too.
Yeah,
You're just like, all right, well, I'll just wait around until they figure it out. But I think I like what they did with the next pick. Definitely leaning
Yeah.
towards
Hey,
figuring it out. Yeah, I got you.
I can't see the
The
yes.
grades aren't on Ozaraku, so we'll show the paragraph again. But I did see that he was 90, rated 90.7 on pass grade over the season.
Yeah.
Uh, for this last season, 6'2", 250. I think he's an easy Demarcus Lawrence replacement.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you can never go wrong with a dude that was kind of projected to go in the first round. And it's not surprising at all that he slipped to the second right here. But this is one of those like super value second round picks that we see every single year that I think will, come back and end up looking really good because there's a lot of holes in my opinion on the Cowboys right now, but like you said, replacing D-Law, who's been there for so long, been a staple of the squad for what was it, 10 years or something.
Yeah,
I think that's important to get another dude in there to help out the pass rush rotation.
yeah. I mean, he was there when D Ware was there, right? Like
Yeah, I think he might have been towards the back end of D Ware or when was the last did D Ware leave the Cowboys? I don't even remember.
2014, right?
Yeah,
Went to
yeah,
Denver, won a Super Bowl.
he might
2015.
have. That's
Yeah,
crazy if you could. Shit.
yeah, dude. The Cowboys were stacked like that last. I know everyone was saying like I don't know. My dad was saying that D
Yeah,
Ware didn't fit the scheme. I'm like, D Ware probably fit the scheme. They just couldn't pay him
yeah.
anymore. But Chavone Rebel, also someone they might have been just doing best available Seamus because you could argue he was best available at third round 76. Dude was working at Amazon. You know
Yeah.
he's hungry. You know he's gonna seize the opportunity if he's going from Amazon to the freaking America's team, right?
Yeah. You gotta love a story like that too. And this is something where you got Trayvon Diggs, who was a second round pick. You got Deron Bland, who I want to say was a fifth or sixth rounder. So
Yeah.
Cowboys have been getting solid corner production from dudes way down the board, and I think this dude won't be any different. He did get hurt last year, so there's obviously a chance that maybe he doesn't come back the exact same dude, but I don't know. I'd be kind of shocked if that happened just because, I mean, he's still super young coming out for the draft. So I really like these last two picks and Onzaraku and Chavone because I just think that's just elite value, and you're getting positions of need, helping the defense out. So I think these first three rounds, especially once I kind of wrap my head around Tyler Booker, might be my favorite three in the whole thing. Honestly, that might be a stretch, but it's got to be up there in terms of first three picks for a team.
Back to back 80 overall grade coverage grade in the last two seasons.
Damn.
So I know that's at Eastern Carolina, but he's 6'3",
Yeah.
193. I like the height too at corner.
And this
But
is a dude that was supposed to be like a lock first round pick if he didn't get hurt. So
yeah,
the league was definitely high on him.
I also like their next pick though, Jadon Blue. I think he was the fastest guy at the combine. Um, the Cowboys just need that explosiveness back at running back. I know Rico Dowdle wasn't bad, and it was probably more an O line slash play calling thing. But this dude can give you a lot out of the backfield too. I know PFF says he fumbles a little bit, but Texas guy too, man.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I would say that's the one thing about the Cowboys draft that maybe I would nitpick is the fact that they didn't get one of those better running backs earlier. But running back's a position where, we could see this dude or even Phil Maffa, who they got in the seventh round, being a solid guy. But I still have a lot of skepticism about the running back room because you're trotting out Javante Williams and then I think Blue's going to come in and have to be a contributor right off the bat since they don't have Rico Dowdle anymore. But this is a dude right here too who I definitely think is going to be a big factor in the pass catching game as a running back, no doubt.
Yeah, I know he's more of a elusive back kind of guy, but it says 37 missed tackles on 140 attempts. So he's got it in him to make guys miss.
Yeah,
Um, Shamar
yeah.
James from Florida, Seamus. Let me get his name
I'm
here.
I'm this is a guy that I don't know a bunch about, but I feel like the Cowboys have been kind of uh doing this a lot in the past drafts where they'll get an SEC linebacker like Jabril Cox or Overshown in the third, fourth, fifth round, something like that. And we've seen what Overshown was, so you're obviously betting on that kind of upside right there. But a good depth pick for linebacker. All these guys down here are kind of guys that we're going to look, I'd say 2-3 years down the line and really know if they're contributors and if they developed well or not.
Yeah, and they could be contributors on special teams. PFF has no stats on here about what they did on special teams. They said that his pass grade dropped a lot from the year before to this last season, and his run stopping is pretty decent, but that probably means he can fly around on kickoff or punt, right? So,
Yeah,
but like you said, I feel like in terms of actually playing on defense, these guys from here on out are a developmental type of guy.
100%. And I think one thing that should be like said and noted is that there's every single year there's times where you go into training camp just fired up to see one of your first picks taken, and then you look at it and kind of read up on it, and even if you see it, and a sixth rounder, an undrafted guy is the one that's showing out, and you're looking, you're like, who the hell is that right there? So at the end of the day, there's plenty of examples and that kind of stuff of late round picks coming in and outplaying the first, second, third round guys. So I think there could be some of that too. There definitely will be throughout the league, but you just never know who it's going to be.
Yeah, and the next guy, Seamus, Johnny Cornelius. Hopefully, I didn't say his first name wrong. 4 sacks and 35 pressures on 1,466 snaps. I feel like we keep seeing these guys on the back end of some of these teams' drafts where they just didn't give up a lot of sacks. And dude, it makes you want to explore these 6th round, 7th round picks more because this could be one of those guys that just randomly starts. We just see starting at tackle. And you said Tyler Guyton needs to step up. This might be the perfect guy to get behind him and light a fire under his ass. Uh, yeah,
100%. Yeah, I agree, and I think it's interesting when you look at that because to me that just has to tell you that I guess the teams just didn't like, I guess, his athleticism is measurable, something like that, that makes you take so many other tackles before this guy whenever his stats look like they're pretty solid at the end of the day. But to move on to their seventh round pick, their first one, I should say, they got three of them. It's Jay Toei, I want to say, D tackle out of UCLA, um, 6'3", 325. Um, says he's very difficult to move. So, this kind of just lets me know that he's probably just going to come in and be a run stuffer off the bat. And I mentioned it in other videos before. A lot of D line get rotated out, so there's a chance this dude is, in run stuffing downs. Year one as a rookie, maybe probably later down the season, but you could see him on fourth and short or third and short this year, 100%.
says 22 pressures and 24, like tripled his combined total. I mean,
Yeah,
progression. Love
100%.
seeing progression from junior to sophomore, junior, senior year. especially in the stats. Um, Phil Maffei, Clemson running back, big power back. So you got Jadon Blue fast out the backfield. Then you got the power back out of Clemson. 3.24 yards after contact per attempt. I mean, this running back class is just nuts, dude. I feel
I
like there's
know.
gonna be so many guys. I mean, this could be one of them that we just never really paid attention to.
No, I completely agree. I think there's going to be multiple fifth, sixth, seventh rounders. Maybe there's even some undrafted guys that might not be elite. I bet you there's going to be at least one elite running back that comes from the later rounds this year, but at least multiple solid ones, I would guess. But I like it. You pair him up with Jaden Blue, and they're just two completely different styles of running back. Um, I like it. Just get more depth and different kind of backs in the running back room. But to kind of round it out, and shout out to this dude, Tommy. Oh man, Tommy a King Bestoat. Obviously not right. Out of Maryland, D tackle. But shout out to this dude. He doesn't really have a ride up in PFF, but
48, 48 grade in 2022, 67 and 72. So he's a guy that we like. He's showing progression over 3 years.
okay,
Uh, 6'4", 316, and grade by game, dude. He had an 85 overall grade against Penn State, 76 against Minnesota, 70 against Michigan State. But I mean, 85 against Penn State. I don't know what he ate before the game. Uh, if
yeah.
he was, I don't know. You know,
Whatever he did before that game, he needs to keep doing that shit. I don't know what it was, but um, overall, Dylan, just initial opinions on the draft class. I like what they did. I kind of mentioned that the first three draft picks were really good in my opinion. I really like the first four because I think Jaden Blue could be a contributor at least as a third down guy. But I think you get three players that at least look like they can come in, maybe not right away, but hopefully and provide instant, just whatever they need to. I think helping out the O line, getting three Tylers on the O line is pretty huge and definitely going to help out Dak and just make sure the running game is good for the future. But as we know, being Cowboys fans, there is still work to do. I still am not super optimistic about this next coming season, but overall, I like what they did.
I think it's worth mentioning, Seamus, that the Cowboys are always contending, and that doesn't just happen because of one thing, but that's because they draft well. People don't give Jerry credit. Like A+ by PFF, I'd say about the same if I were to grade them. I mean, I don't know if they went best available here and the scouts just telling Jerry what to do, but um, this wasn't a super exciting draft. I was excited to see Ozaraku and Revel back to back. And honestly, Tyler Booker, I mean, in terms of exciting, probably not, but that's a lock, right? I like this draft. But if you guys stuck around and watched, thank you. Like the video, subscribe. We're going to rip a whole bunch of teams here. So check those out and check out our breakouts. And yeah,
Go Cowboys.
go boys.